This last month, everyone and their mothers are either releasing updates or games. Llama Ultimate is no different. In 1.2, it goes really deep and really wide in what they want to change in the game. So, yeah, it's literally game changing. Before going there, a huge thank you to all the members, viewers, and subscribers for helping the channel out. Without you, believe me when I say this wouldn't be possible. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers, and your help will be appreciated. If you could please press like and subscribe. Thank you. Shoutouts to channel sponsor Coach Dave Academy. They have data packs and they also setups for Llama Ultimate. Very good setups that I use when I stream. For this video, I'll be using their setups and it will be important a little bit later on. So check out the link in the description. For 1.2, this thing is huge. Generally, for updates for Llama Ultimate, everybody stresses about the DLC because the DLC normally comes attached with this. This one is no different. LMS Part 2 that brings one car and then Paul Ricard. In my opinion, the DLC is passable. The car is okay. The track, I don't really care about it. What is important, and it will be available for all of you, it is what is inside the 1.2 update because it affects everybody. And there are also a few things here that will be further on directed to the console development of the game. LMS Pack 2 brings Paul Ricard. We'll have a look at Paul Ricard later on. And also the LMP3 Ginetta that comes with the Toyota V6 engine. It's a very good track in terms of design, in terms of how Studio 397 did it. I don't particularly like or care about it. And for the LMP3s, they are actually really good. I really like the Ginetta and how it drives. However, the updates that come into this game are, in my opinion, more important, and that includes a lot of physics changes in tires and also in tarmac in the way that the systems are now working. They have something called real roads, and real roads essentially is now grabbing information better to where the cars are passing and doing a better simulation of the tarmac evolution as the car is going through. So there's less of a drop off of grip when you go out of the line. There's one thing that is super important for those of you who are on lower end systems, and it will be also usable for those of you who are on high end systems. It's called texture streaming. So the texture streaming will be more efficient when bringing textures into a view. So there will be more level of details of these textures and they won't load high resolution on a background. That means for those of you who are limited on VRAM, this is a good thing, and you won't be seeing any difference at all. I didn't notice any difference at all with texture streaming being here, not in terms of FPS, but for those of you with lower VRAM, that might be different. This is super important because Llama Ultimate wants to be a game that will go for consoles, and with consoles they have less VRAM, so they need to do the optimizations, which is good. This bodes well for the future of the game. More optimizations mean more FPS or more stable FPS, and that is vital in a sim racing game. For the online, there's two new things called badges and live steward. For the badges, essentially the system in the background is already capturing your information as you would, and it will give you a badge depending on the way you behave in track. If you are trusted, if you are good, or if you are, a bad poopy butt. If you are a bad poopy butt, they'll give you a warning. They'll put a warning badge over there. If you are trusted, they will give you, a trusted badge. This is a good thing because also on the background, there will be live stewarding, which is a system also collecting data as it is 2025. And with that data, they want to figure out how to best do an auto stewarding of the system. Now, live stewarding in the beginning will only really deal with big incidents where, there's clear indication of somebody that was at fault. But as more data is collected, there will be more for the live steward to intervene. Stuff like track cuts, stuff like unsafe rejoins, small bumps that deal into big crashes and all of that. With all of this, they want to bring a system. They want to bring a system into the game that makes everything safer and better in terms of driving standards, because lately it's been kind of awful. And they also want to bring into multiplayer something called Easy Inti Cheat that has been used in other games around the world. So this will crack out some of the people that may be using cheats. I haven't been finding any issues with cheaters at the moment in this game, at least that I can find. So, bringing an extra level of security is super important. There are a myriad of smaller improvements. These ones are the most important ones. But of course, for me, the tires will be the most important. And we're going to have a look at it right now. We're going to start this with the LMP3 Ligier, and at Silverstone. Later on, we'll have a look at the new contact. But I wanted to show you this. I'm going to my custom setup and go loading up a setup from Coach Dave, which is a very low aero setup. And we're gonna go out of the track. I want you to pay attention to the track details. So in this case, we have low grip, 15 degrees. It's a very cold track, and I want you to have attention to the tires. And if you know this, you coming out of the track in this circumstance means there's no grip. At very low throttle input or just stabbing the throttle, as you come out of the pit, it will be exactly the same. It will be the same at the S's. It will be the same everywhere. So we come out, there's nothing, right? And since 0.9, when they changed the tires for the GT3s, you had no grip. And I've always found very, very strange that there was no grip progression. As you go here, there's nothing. The car is understeering, there's difficulty with the tires coming in. And when this car came out a few months ago, I had one of the drivers for this specific car coming in my stream saying that they have grip, they have lateral grip. It's not much, it's not optimal, but the car should be drivable, and you get to this corner, hangar corner, and you should be doing it with no problem whatsoever. Which in this, nothing happens. You really need to low it. I'm barely doing anything. There is literally no grip. And in reality, I believe they've done also an update before this, but the handling is basically null. The car is on ice. We're in 1.2 now. Let's load exactly the same setup as before, which is this one over here. And we have the 5.5 wing. We come out to the track, same conditions as before. Same low temperature-ish, 25 degrees, low grip, light clouds, whatever. Very cold. As you come out, you already feel a difference. The tires grab. The tires have some meat into it. And as you've seen, come out of the corner from the pit. So what do we have? Oh my god, we can actually go around the corner. And I do remember some criticisms of this that I had against me when coming out of the pits. Oh, the tires are cold. Here's what happens when the tires are cold. Over here at the S's. Guess what? You can corner around. You still feel understeer. The understeer is there. The understeer is there. I'm not going to say the understeer isn't there, because the understeer is there. There's less lateral grip than when the tires are warm, but there's more than before. And this goes in hand to what that LMP2 driver said to me. You get to anger, what happens? You know, you're still going to have some understeer. But guess what? You can make the corner much better. So it's a completely different game in my opinion. Come into here, exactly the same thing. Have more grip, going around. Second gear, into throttle. What happens instead of the car flipping around like it did before? Car goes around. Of course, if you are too aggressive because the tires are cold, you're gonna have a bad time. But now it seems that is more corrected, better than before, and goes really against to the idea that cold tires mean death traps, which in reality they aren't. And this transfers also to the GT3s, super important. Coming out of the track, automatically the car, it feels much better. It's easier to control on a cold tire, on a very cold tire. And turning around here, guys, remember when you hit the wall? I've hit that wall so many times. As we come out to the track, you know, as you get to sunset tends to be quite difficult, especially in low aero. And you'd go here and the car wants generally to release. Well, it still happens a bit under throttle, but much easier to control, because in that circumstance, if I dumped the throttle in that way, if I put my foot to the throttle, the car would simply fly. In these circumstances, we have very cold tires. P1, what do we have here? Control on the rear ends of the car. This is, in my opinion, you know, yours might be different. It drives completely different. It feels like a new game while having the same type of structure. The car is controllable. This probably means, and I've done a test with Porsche, that some of the less usable cars may become usable again. And that includes also the Corvette and likely the Porsche as well. And we can go around here. Remember when you turn around and do this in first gear and the car spins? I'm using a very low aero setup. The car grips. I mean, he still wants to go because the tires are cold. But guess what? It is usable. And now a quick look to Circuit Paul Ricard and also the Ginetta LMP3. I don't like Paul Ricard at all. I never drive it in ACC. I always skip the races on ACC with Paul Ricard. I simply don't like the layout. A lot of people will disagree. For me, this track is usually passable. That's why generally with DLCs, for me, the most important thing is never the content. It's more the update. This is no different, though the car drives fantastic with the Coach Dave aggressive setup. There's no Coach Dave Delta setup, and it also drives really nicely. It's super neutral with the stock setup of the car. For the track, Studio 397 knows really how to do tracks. I keep saying this. This one is absolutely no different. I think they do a very good job in the representation of colors and also in the modeling of the tracks. The representation of colors for me is super important because it gives you the real type of ambience, and they do it really, really well. It's too bad I dislike the track, but that's not ditch against the 397. I just don't like this track, period. Two things are different over here. One of them is this entry for the LMS. Probably see this. I think it was the one for Formula 1 as well. You get this little chicane over here, and the chicane is not very well visible, so it's going to be a bit of a trick at the beginning until everybody learns it, and then later on there's another change. As for the car, it drives incredibly well. It's grippy even in, you know, not a lot of temperature in the tires. As you see, we came out of the pits and the tires are actually okay-ish. Not, you know, the best, but really not the worst. This corner always gets to me. The car is neutral, goes around well, and with a good setup, this will be really, really cool. As for the track pit entry, it's different. If you drive ACC, you probably know it from the start-finish. On this one, we have it here. Just like Sebring, it's further on the back instead of the start line. And as we go around it, we see the track in all its splendor. The splendor isn't really that much, but whatever. It is a very well-designed track for the game. The car is absolutely fantastic, and as I keep saying, for me it's more important in 1.2 or generally in pretty much every single game that comes out with massive updates. It's more important the update itself than the DLC. The DLC can be passable for most of you if you don't want Paul Ricard to want to race here and here, or you don't need an extra LMP3 car. But the 1.2 update is absolutely brilliant. Download it. It will be free, available on Tuesday the 9th, and tell me in the comments what you think. There are a couple of things that I didn't mention here, but also important to talk about. The first one is that there's a bug with AI when you do a race with them. In some tracks like Spa and Imola, for example, when you want to do a race against AI and you do the backspace to go to the start procedure, it doesn't really do the start procedure. The race starts and you start on either on the side or on the pits, depending where you load, and it's kind of frustrating, so they have to fix it. The second thing is about the performance. The loading times are slightly faster for me, and in terms of FPS, I believe the FPS stability is much, much better right now. I didn't have an increase in FPS that much, if I didn't really feel it, but with more AI, it feels like it drops less FPS, and I believe they are using the CPU better this time. So that bodes well for the improvement of the game in terms of performance and in terms of the driving. For me, the tire model is completely changed. It doesn't feel like going on ice skates anymore, and it feels like now you have some sort of connection with with what the tires are doing. That was, for me, kind of lost after 0.9 with all those skating cars going around. And then after 1.1, they did something that completely destroyed the enjoyment of the game for me. And hopefully the changes they also do with the online, the safety, and all of that improve the online play as well. Let me know in the comments what you think about this.